The Voice Vista Podcast, venture by Pooja Prasoon. The Voice Vista presents Candid Podcast Show Special Talks. डेंटिस्ट्रीमध्ये आंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तरावर पेटंट प्राप्त इंडो इरिगेटर प्लस आणि चोल ओ क्विक इरिगेटिंग सोल्युशन या नाविन्यपूर्ण शोधाचे जनक एंडोडोंटिस्ट अँड आंत्रप्रेन्योर डॉक्टर मंदार जी पिंपरीकर आज आपल्या सोबत आहेत. गेल्या अनेक वर्षांपासून आपल्या दातांचं आरोग्य आणि सौंदर्य वाढवण्याची जबाबदारी त्यांनी उचलली आहे. सो लेट्स एन्जॉय द शो विथ बिग स्माइल. सुरू करूया कॅन्डिड पॉडकास्ट शो स्पेशल टॉक्स.
And welcome to this Voice Vista podcast. I'm grateful to Voice Vista for giving me this opportunity to interact with the audience. I am Dr. Mandar Pimprikar, a practicing dentist for last about 30 years. I stepped into dentistry because I myself run into a third generation of the medicine. There was no clear intent of getting into dentistry, but there was an intent of getting into a medical field. So I opted for dentistry. I started my practice in 1995 at a very small town, Lasalgaon, which is close to Nasik. And of course, in those days there were a lot of hurdles in terms of running a clinical practice because there was no awareness in terms of oral care. So there was a lot of patient education which went on for years together to get into the groove and make people aware of saving their natural teeth. Now I specialize into a field of endodontics, that is root canal treatment, and I have done a lot of research and innovations in that field which I come to later. First of all, the dental pain. Now why does patient suffer from dental pain? The most common factor is ignorance or negligence. And most of the patients land up in clinic with sleepless nights, pain, swelling. Probably it's the journey of the tooth started long back. But human psychology, unless and until there's a dire emergency, nobody likes to visit a dental clinic. And there we need to change the approach by the patients that they should be aware of their oral health. They should undergo regular checkups. Now dentistry, I put it as a highly skilled job. Of course, now we are into an era of artificial intelligence, innovations, technology. But I put skill job over all these factors because it's a very personalized service which a dentist renders to the patient to maintain their oral health. Preserving natural tooth is something which is highly skilled job and needs upgradation throughout your clinical practice as a dentist. So for patients, there can be a want-based treatment or a need-based treatment. Many patients, they land up into a clinic when they want a want-based treatment, like they're getting married or the teeth are not properly aligned, they want to undergo a smile design. That's a want-based procedure. But need-based, which the patients can avoid that emergency situation by undergoing regular dental checkups. Since I am a conservative dentist, I'm going to talk about the importance of saving the teeth. So, root canal treatment now is quite simple procedure because most of the patients have a dental phobia. Nobody willingly sits on the dental chair and they have different kinds of imaginations that what would happen to them because the patient is conscious and the procedures are done under local anesthesia. But believe me, with highly skilled persons and with the advent of technology and innovations. Now, root canal treatment can be done in most of the times in one visit. So there are no repeated visits to the dental clinics. Of course, you as a patient, you have to uh, track the clinicians who are upgraded with the technology. So, being a clinical or clinician, one has to upgrade all the time. So, there is a message for the patients that they should undergo regular checkups to avoid these root canal treatments. They can be easily avoided. And the message for the clinicians that they need to constantly upgrade to serve your patients in a better way. When it comes to giving something back to the fraternity, I have been involved in a lot of research and innovations. I hold 4 patents for different devices and disinfecting solutions which I have formulated uh, to be used during root canal treatment. Now, this story goes back about 10 years when I thought that uh, being in India, we should have our own devices developed in our country. Most of the devices are imported from the other countries, and that is why dental treatment goes high on cost. In Western world, dentists are considered to be a top-notch medical fraternity. But in India, unfortunately, the patients, when it comes to patients, it is just a last priority unless and until they are in pain. Coming back to something giving to the fraternity back, I have been also involved in the continual dental education programs where I must have traveled across the country and also outside the country for conducting the workshops on endodontics, that is root canal treatment, and must have trained about 5,000 odd dentists till date. What I see in future uh, for dentistry in India is now we are equipped with so many gadgets that the treatments can be done absolutely painlessly. So there is no need for the patients to carry that phobia with them. And regular checkups is the message which I want to give to all the audiences that if you want to avoid these complicated procedures, get a regular checkup done. If you ask me how do you balance your profession and passion, now I am constantly involved in other extracurricular activities like sports. I am a cyclist, so that keeps me going on and keeps my mind fresh, so that you can think of a lot of other possibilities where you can explore a lot of things. A recent development which I would like to share with you is that recently there was this oral health innovation conclave in New Delhi, and I displayed my innovations and which bagged me a first prize. Based on that, I got a research and development space at Vishakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh Medtech Zone, where now we will manufacture our own devices in India. So we are, in true sense, you can say we are going Atmanirbhar for getting the dental devices manufactured here. Probably that will bring down some cost, but nothing comes at a low cost. There is nothing which is coming to you at a low cost which has a good quality. So we also need to focus on what is going out in the dental market in terms of quality. I would like to pass on the message in 2 segments. One is for the patients that if they want to avoid these expensive uh, treatment procedures, the saving of the tooth, or we can limit this dental decay, which is widespread in Indian population because of the eating habits, the irregular eating habits, the diet. We can prevent this dental decay at an initial stage where we can avoid these root canal treatments. For the fraternity and for the young clinicians or the young dentist, which they are about to enter into a clinical practice, I would like to tell you in one word that upgradation, and upgradation is the only way to go ahead. There is always a space uh, at the top. So, no matter how many dentists are there, you have to focus on your goals. And part of developing these devices, it was about way back in 2013 and 14. And it all started with some passion. Nothing was planned, and I did not intend to go into too much of details about it. Just an idea struck me because seeing the patients, working on the patients, you get to know the difficulties the clinicians face. So I wanted to overcome those difficulties, and suddenly one idea struck me, and I got an help from an engineer and shared an idea with him. There was no intent of doing any patent on this, but my wife insisted that since you are doing this, you should uh, plan to file a patent. So everything was new to me. So that was one struggle area where I struggled for about 2 to 3 years. That how to patent this. I was not aware of any of the steps. That how do you go about acquiring a patent? And there was no help as such in those days. Somehow I could file my first application in 2015. Went on to file the international patent for the same device. Then we developed a prototype here itself in Nasik, which was quite a big task because the materials, the resources were limited. But somehow we succeeded with a lot of hard work, and we could build a prototype. And then I presented that prototype to various platforms. That was my first device, or you can call it as a first baby. And after about 8 to 9 years, I could get into a multinational company to present this device, and they gleefully accepted this, and now they are manufacturing it all over the globe, and the device is being supplied in about 110 countries. So that was first teething problem when it came to developing a device. And then one after the other, I kept on thinking over the uh, problems faced by clinicians and how things can be made simpler, economical, and with precision. And then I went on to make another device. Now, all my area of specialization is in root canal treatment. So, all my devices and solutions are used during root canal treatment. So, after the second device, then I thought of formulating a irrigating or disinfecting solution. So, in 2016, I started working on it, and in 2020 the patent was granted for that solution, and which is now valid for 20 years. So this was not planned. I had absolute no knowledge about how to go about doing this patent, and now a lot of youngsters, they approach me for that how to proceed about acquiring a patent. So the journey, it started all with passion and ended up in now a private limited company, where now we are focused on developing indigenous products, and which will be make in India or made in India. Now we are in a position to assemble the units which are manufactured by other countries and supply it from India. So that was the journey about innovations and research. When you talk about research, yes, you need a lot of patience. You need some guiding light, which was missing in terms of the steps involved in the acquiring patent. So, with everybody's support, I could reach to this point where now I have about 4 to 5 devices under my belt, and I'm still working on some of the few products where we can make this economical with precision and simple to use devices. With this, it was pleasure interacting with you. And once again, thank you, Voice Vista, for this wonderful opportunity to interact with you on this podcast. Goodbye.
थैंक यू फॉर ट्यूनिंग इनटू द वॉइस विस्टा पॉडकास्ट। आप और भी इंटरेस्टिंग शो सुन सकते हैं thevoicevista.in पर। ये शो कॉन्सेप्चुअलाइज किया है पूजा प्रसून ने, प्रोड्यूस किया है द वॉइस विस्टा ने। गेस्ट कोऑर्डिनेशन में हमारे साथ रही सुनीता जी चौहान। डिजाइन किया है टीम क्रिएटर्स डेन ने। साथ ही एडिटिंग और प्रोडक्शन के लिए धन्यवाद टीम लर्निंग बी को। प्रोमो वॉइस दिया है राहुल ढोले ने। लाइक, फॉलो और सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें।